A flash of blue and red lights in your rearview mirror. Your heart probably skips a beat, right? You're thinking, was I speeding? Is a taillight out? For most of us, a traffic stop is a minor inconvenience, a momentary spike in anxiety that usually ends with a warning or a ticket. But what if I told you that some of the most routine stops have unraveled terrifying secrets and brought some of the most dangerous criminals to justice? This isn't just about speeding tickets. This is about the split-second decisions and gut instincts of officers on the road, and the shocking discoveries they make when they pull someone over for a simple moving violation. Imagine this. A car is weaving slightly on the highway late at night. An officer flips on their lights, expecting a tired driver, or maybe someone who's had one too many. But as they approach the vehicle, the story starts to change. The driver's hands are shaking, their story doesn't add up, and there's a strange smell coming from the trunk. What started as a simple safety check is now a full-blown investigation. These are the moments where the ordinary collides with the unthinkable. We're going to dive into real-life cases where a broken taillight, an expired registration, or a failure to signal led to the discovery of kidnappings, trafficking rings, and even the capture of wanted murderers. Let's start with a case that seems straight out of a movie. In 1995, Oklahoma State Trooper Charlie Hanger was on patrol on Interstate 35. It was a regular morning until he spotted a beat-up yellow Mercury sedan with no license plate. A classic, simple reason to pull a car over. The driver, a young man, seemed nervous but compliant. He claimed he was moving and had just bought the car. He even had a fake ID ready. But Trooper Hanger's experience told him something was off. The driver's story had holes, and his demeanor was just a little too shifty. Hanger noticed a bulge under the man's jacket and asked him to step out of the car. That's when he saw the driver was armed. After safely disarming him, Hanger ran the man's real name through the system. The driver was Timothy McVeigh. The stop happened just 90 minutes after the horrific bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. The single-minded focus of one state trooper on a routine traffic violation, a missing license plate, led to the capture of one of America's most infamous domestic terrorists. It's a chilling reminder that evil can be driving right next to you, hidden behind the most mundane of infractions. Now, not all traffic stops uncover crimes of that magnitude, but the principle is the same. An officer's training often kicks in, helping them spot anomalies that the average person would miss. It's what they call reading the scene. Is the driver avoiding eye contact? Are their answers to simple questions overly elaborate or strangely vague? Are there items in the car that seem out of place, like tools for a burglary or unusual restraints? These small details can be the threads that, when pulled, unravel a much larger criminal tapestry. Consider another case, one that saved a life in real time. In California, sheriff's deputies noticed a car driving erratically. When they pulled the driver over, a woman, she started behaving strangely. She wasn't just nervous. She was trying to communicate something without speaking. Using hand signals she learned from social media, she covertly alerted the officers that she was in danger and needed help. Her male passenger was her abuser, and he was taking her somewhere against her will. What began as a stop for reckless driving turned into a domestic violence rescue. The deputies, trained to look for signs of distress, recognized her silent plea and were able to separate her from her captor and get her to safety. Had they not pulled that car over, the story could have had a much darker ending. These situations highlight the psychological battle that often takes place on the side of the road. Officers are trained to de-escalate, but they also have to be constantly aware of potential threats. A person pulled over for speeding could be a dad late to pick up his kids, or they could be a fugitive with a warrant out for their arrest. The officer has no way of knowing which it is until they start asking questions. This is where experience and intuition become so critical. They are looking for behavioral cues, signs of deception, or indicators of a bigger problem hiding just beneath the surface of a simple traffic infraction. Let's look at the financial crimes uncovered this way. Massive drug trafficking operations often rely on the nation's highways to move their product and their cash. A single vehicle could be transporting millions of dollars worth of illegal substances or laundered money. From the outside, it looks just like any other car or truck. But a K-9 unit, a sharp-eyed officer noticing inconsistencies in a driver's travel log, or even just a driver who seems way too nervous for a simple warning, can bring a whole empire crashing down. There was a case in Texas where a trooper stopped a commercial truck for following another vehicle too closely. The driver's paperwork seemed mostly in order, but his story about his route and destination didn't quite line up. The trooper's suspicion led him to call for a more thorough inspection. Hidden inside a secret compartment within the truck's cargo, they found over $1 million in cash, bundled and shrink-wrapped, likely headed back to a cartel. A tailgating violation ended up dealing a significant financial blow to a major criminal organization. It's a game of cat and mouse played out at 70 miles per hour. But what makes an officer decide to dig deeper? It's often a combination of factors known as reasonable suspicion. This is more than just a hunch. It's a collection of specific, observable facts that, when taken together, suggest criminal activity might be afoot. It could be the smell of marijuana, the sight of drug paraphernalia in plain view, or the driver admitting to having something illegal in the car. It can also be conflicting stories from passengers, or the driver being unable to prove ownership of the vehicle. Each of these details adds a layer to the officer's suspicion, giving them the legal grounds to extend the stop and investigate further. Without these initial, minor violations, they would have no legal reason to interact with the vehicle in the first place. Think about the infamous case of serial killer Ted Bundy. He was finally caught for good in Florida, not because someone recognized him from a most wanted poster, but because a police officer noticed him cruising a residential neighborhood late at night and ran the plates on his car. They came back as stolen. The subsequent stop and arrest brought his terrifying cross-country murder spree to an end. A stolen plate, a suspicious circumstance, and an officer acting on his gut instinct. These stories aren't meant to make you paranoid every time you see a car pulled over. The vast majority of traffic stops are exactly what they seem, but they do offer a fascinating glimpse into a side of law enforcement that we rarely see. It's a world where the smallest detail can be the key that unlocks a massive case. It proves that the front lines in the fight against major crime aren't always in a detective's office or a forensics lab. Sometimes, they're right on the shoulder of a dark and lonely highway, all starting with the simple, familiar sight of flashing lights in a rearview mirror. What do you think? Have you ever witnessed a traffic stop that seemed more intense than usual? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I read every single one. Thanks so much for watching today. If you found this as fascinating as I did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden world of true crime. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video.